7 signs your immune system is giving up. Have you ever stopped for a moment, just a moment, and asked yourself, is my body still fighting for me? We live in a world where we ignore the whispers of our health until they become screams. We power through exhaustion with caffeine, mask pain with pills, and call our constant sicknesses just bad luck. But what if it's not bad luck? What if the very system designed to protect you, your immune system, is trying to warn you that it's falling apart? See, your immune system is your body's secret guardian. It's always there, behind the scenes, protecting you from viruses, bacteria, and infections. It's a silent warrior, one that never sleeps, never rests, and never asks for recognition. From the moment you wake up to the moment you lay your head down, and even while you sleep, it is always on duty. But what happens when that warrior gets tired? What happens when the one thing standing between you and disease begins to weaken? What happens when it starts to give up? It doesn't send you a formal notice. It doesn't knock on your door. It whispers, quietly, subtly, through symptoms that you brush off. That constant fatigue, that lingering cold, that joint pain, those gut issues, those mood swings, they're not just random occurrences. They're your immune system crying out, I'm struggling. I can't keep going like this. But most of us, we don't listen. We say, I'm just tired. We say, I always get sick this time of year. We say, it's probably nothing. Until it is something. Something big. Something dangerous. Something irreversible. The truth is, your immune system never fails overnight. It collapses slowly, and it gives you signs, 7 of them, long before it fully gives up. And if you can spot them early, if you can recognize the red flags before the damage is done, you might just be able to save it. You might just be able to turn the tide before it's too late. So today, listen carefully, because in the next few moments, I'll reveal the 7 most critical signs that your immune system is giving up. And if you've been feeling off, if something deep inside you has been whispering that things aren't quite right, this could be the wake-up call you've been avoiding. This isn't fear. This is awareness. This is the truth your body has been trying to tell you. And once you hear these signs, you'll never look at your health the same way again. Sign 1. Unexplained fatigue, no matter how much you sleep. Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning after a full night's rest and still felt like you never slept at all? You went to bed early, you turned off your phone, you avoided caffeine, you followed every sleep hygiene tip the internet could offer. And yet, you still wake up tired. Not just tired, drained. Like every bone in your body is heavy. Like you're walking through your day with weights strapped to your limbs. Like your energy was stolen from you in the night and never returned. This isn't laziness. This isn't just needing coffee. This is a deep warning from your body. See, true fatigue, the kind that clings to you even after 8, 9, or 10 hours of sleep, is often not about your sleep at all. It's about your immune system. Your immune system is like a massive, invisible military force operating inside you 24/7. It needs energy, it needs fuel, it needs rest. And when it's under attack, whether from infections, chronic stress, inflammation, toxins, or even autoimmune triggers, it starts consuming your energy like wildfire. Think of it this way. You're not tired because you're doing too little. You're tired because your body is fighting a battle you can't see. Every cell in your body is engaged in an invisible war, and that war is expensive. It costs energy. And the longer the war drags on, the more depleted you become. This kind of fatigue isn't just physical, it's mental. You try to concentrate, but your mind feels foggy. You try to be productive, but even the smallest task feels like climbing a mountain. You try to stay motivated, but it's like someone turned the lights off in your brain. This is not your imagination. This is immune burnout. Now let's get one thing clear. There's a difference between being sleepy and being fatigued. Sleepiness can be fixed with rest. Fatigue cannot. When your immune system is compromised, overworked, overstressed, undernourished, it starts draining your body's energy reserves. It's like trying to power a city on a single battery. Eventually, the lights dim, and eventually they go out. Your body begins to prioritize its functions. What's most important? Keeping the heart beating, the lungs breathing, the brain awake, barely. Everything else takes a back seat. That includes your alertness, your stamina, your clarity, your motivation, your willpower. It all vanishes. And yet, so many people ignore this. They push through. They say, I'm just having an off week. They tell themselves it's because of work stress or family pressure or lack of exercise. They buy energy drinks, drink more coffee, try new supplements, but none of it works. Because the truth is, you can't caffeine your way out of an immune system breakdown. Your immune system is begging for help. It's telling you through this fatigue that it's overwhelmed, that it can no longer protect you the way it used to, that the viruses, bacteria, toxins, even your own inflamed tissues are all too much to handle now. And instead of sending alarms, it's pulling power from your body just to keep going. And if you keep ignoring this fatigue, if you keep labeling it as normal, you're allowing the breakdown to continue. You're letting your defenses weaken even more. Until one day, you don't just feel tired. You feel sick, chronically sick, because this is how it begins. Most autoimmune diseases, most chronic inflammatory conditions, even early stages of cancer, they don't start with pain. They don't start with bleeding. They start with fatigue, and not the kind you can nap away. It's the kind that haunts you, the kind that makes you feel like you're only living at 40% of your potential. And the scariest part? This kind of fatigue is silent. You won't notice it growing worse until it's already stolen months, even years from your life. It will slowly rob you of your joy. You'll stop going out, stop seeing friends, stop dreaming big. You'll start shrinking into a smaller and smaller version of yourself, not because you want to, but because you don't have the energy to be more. This is not a life. This is a warning, and you can reverse it, but only if you recognize it for what it is. If you feel like no amount of sleep restores you, if you're dragging through your day despite doing all the right things, if even your thoughts feel heavy, don't ignore it. Don't push it down. Don't cover it up. Your body is talking to you. Your immune system is waving a red flag. And if you listen now, if you stop and pay attention, you might just give your body the chance to heal, to recharge, to rise again. Because true energy doesn't come from coffee. It comes from balance, from nourishment, from protection, from a healthy, strong, supported immune system. So the next time you feel that crushing tiredness, the kind that sleep can't fix, don't brush it off. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me? Because it just might be trying to save your life. Sign 2, frequent colds and infections. Let me ask you something personal. How often do you get sick? Not just once or twice a year. I'm talking about constantly. The sniffles that never end. The sore throat that returns every few weeks. The cough that sticks around like an unwanted guest. Or worse, infections that pop up again and again. In your ears, your skin, your chest, your urinary tract. At first, you blame the weather. Then you say it must be stress. Maybe you think it's just your sensitive body. But after a while, you start to wonder, why am I always the one getting sick? Here's the raw truth. And it's one most people never hear in time. Frequent illness is not bad luck. It's a blinking red alarm. It's your immune system telling you, I'm losing this fight. Your immune system is supposed to be your shield, your protector. It scans every breath you take, every bite of food, every surface you touch, hunting for invaders, viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, mutated cells. It's an army built to eliminate threats before you ever feel a symptom. But when your immune system is giving up, that army shrinks. The soldiers become tired, the radar goes blind, the defense line breaks, and invaders slip through. Again, and again, and again. You go from healthy to coughing in days. You recover, only to fall sick again a week later. Antibiotics don't seem to help as much. You feel like you're stuck in a loop, and no one can explain why. But your body is explaining it. You just haven't been taught to listen. Let's break it down even further. When your immune system is functioning properly, it produces specialized cells that recognize and destroy pathogens before they can multiply. But if you're under chronic stress, if your diet is poor, if you're sleep deprived, if you're overworked, or if your body is fighting hidden inflammation, your immune system gets distracted. It stops patrolling efficiently. It becomes sluggish, and slowly, your body becomes an easy target. Even the most common viruses, like the cold or flu, start to feel like dangerous threats. You may find yourself sick for longer than usual. You may feel like you're always on the verge of getting sick. never fully recovered, never fully healthy. It's like your body is limping forward, trying to defend you with what little strength it has left. But here's the dangerous part. The more often you get sick, the weaker your immune system becomes. It's a vicious cycle. Each illness further drains your internal resources. Each infection chips away at your resilience. And eventually, your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. What once took a day or two to recover from now takes a week. Your colds start turning into chest infections. Your sore throats feel like they've taken up permanent residence. Your skin begins breaking out with strange rashes. Your gums bleed. Your wounds get infected. And each new symptom feels scarier than the last. This isn't just an inconvenience. This is immune system dysfunction, and it doesn't stop with colds and coughs. When your immune system is down, your body is also more vulnerable to serious infections. Pneumonia, shingles, bronchitis, fungal outbreaks, urinary tract infections that return again and again, skin infections that won't go away. Even viral reactivations, like herpes or Epstein-Barr, can suddenly flare up when your defenses fall. And here's something even more alarming. Some cancers, especially leukemia, lymphoma, and others of the immune and blood systems, start showing early signs in the form of frequent, unexplained infections. Your body is trying to warn you long before things get critical, and it does it by breaking down where the defenses used to be strong. You don't need a medical degree to recognize the pattern. If you've had more than 4 to 5 infections in the past year, if you keep catching illnesses that others recover from easily, if antibiotics or antivirals seem to be losing their effect, if every tiny illness spirals into something bigger, then this is no longer just about the bugs you're exposed to. This is about the condition of your immune system. Think of your body like a castle. When the walls are high and strong, even an army can't break through. But if the walls are cracked, if the guards are asleep, if the gates are left open, even a thief with a stick can walk right in. Your immune system is that wall, that guard, that gate. And if you're constantly battling small infections, that's your proof. The gate is wide open. But don't make the mistake so many people do. Don't say it's just a cold. Don't say it'll pass. Because yes, it will pass. But the pattern won't. Not until you rebuild your immune defenses. Not until you restore what's broken. This sign, frequent colds and infections, is one of the loudest cries for help your body can send. And ignoring it doesn't just mean more tissues and antibiotics. It means walking toward a future where your body becomes defenseless when it needs strength the most. So if you're always sick, if your body feels like it's constantly fighting something, don't brush it off. Because what you're dealing with may not be the enemy from outside. It may be the collapse happening inside. Sign 3, slow wound healing. Now, let me ask you something you probably haven't thought about in a while. How fast do your wounds heal? A simple paper cut, a scratch on your arm, a bruise that appears out of nowhere. Have you noticed them sticking around longer than they used to? Have you found that even a small nick from shaving takes days, sometimes weeks, to close? Or that your scabs stay red and inflamed far past when they should have disappeared? You might think it's no big deal. You might say, it's just a cut. But your body is trying to whisper something deeper to you, something critical. Because slow wound healing is not just about your skin. It's about your immune system falling behind. See, every time you get a cut, a scrape, or even a bruise, your immune system is the first responder. It rushes to the site like a rescue team to a disaster zone. It fights off bacteria. It stops bleeding. It starts rebuilding tissue. It cleans up the mess. And it works around the clock until the job is done. When everything is functioning normally, it's like watching magic. A cut closes, the skin regenerates, and within days, you barely remember it happened. But when your immune system is giving up, that entire process slows down, and what should take a few days starts to stretch into weeks. Sometimes it never fully heals. Instead, it becomes chronic. Red, swollen, infected, painful. Why? Because the workers, the immune cells, just aren't showing up like they used to. It's like a construction site with no crew. No one's there to stop the bleeding. No one's there to bring the building blocks for new skin. No one's there to prevent bacteria from invading the open wound. And the worst part? The longer that wound stays open, the greater the risk that something else gets in. Infections, inflammation, scarring, or worse, a systemic response that spreads throughout your body. This is especially dangerous for people with compromised immunity, those with chronic illness, poor nutrition, or high stress. But here's the scary truth. Even if you're young, even if you think you're healthy, if your wounds are healing slowly, your body is telling you that its defenses are crumbling, bit by bit, day by day. You may also notice other signs alongside slow healing: gums that bleed every time you brush, bruises from barely bumping into something, fungal infections on your skin or nails that don't clear up, cuts that become red and swollen instead of drying out, insect bites that linger and itch for days. Each of these is another red flag, another signal, another message, because your skin isn't just a covering, it's your first line of defense. And when your immune system can't even protect that, what else might it be failing to defend inside? Slow wound healing also points to poor circulation, nutrient deficiencies, and chronic inflammation, all of which are directly tied to immune dysfunction. Let's break that down. Without vitamin C, your skin can't rebuild properly. Without zinc, your immune cells can't function. Without enough protein, the building blocks for new tissue aren't available. And with constant stress, your body floods with cortisol, a hormone that literally blocks the immune system from doing its job. So your body stands there, wounded. But nothing comes to help. Imagine what happens next. A simple wound becomes an infection. A mild infection becomes inflammation. And that inflammation, left unchecked, begins to affect your whole body. And still, most people ignore it. They say, it'll go away. They put on a Band-Aid and keep moving. But what they don't realize is that the surface wound is a window, a view into what's happening beneath the skin. And if healing is slow on the outside, what does that say about your body's ability to fight deeper, more dangerous threats? Diseases don't wait for the perfect moment to strike. They exploit the cracks, they find the open doors, and a weak immune system opens every door, every window, every gate. So when your body struggles to heal even the simplest of wounds, it's not just a skin problem, it's a system failure. It's like your body is waving a white flag and no one sees it. And here's something else that needs to be said, because many people don't know this. Chronic wounds can become chronic diseases, especially in people who already have compromised immune systems, diabetics, elderly individuals, people with autoimmune conditions, those under long-term stress, or those unknowingly walking around with hidden immune dysfunction. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. You don't have to wait until your body breaks down to take action. You don't have to let a small cut become a long-term health crisis. You just have to listen. And that starts with noticing, paying attention, and asking the hard questions. Why isn't this healing? Why does my body feel slower than it used to? Why does it seem like something inside me is off? The answer may lie in your immune system, exhausted, overworked, and trying to keep up. But now you know what to look for. And the next time a small wound lingers a little too long, you'll see it for what it really is: a sign, a signal, a chance to turn things around before it's too late. Sign 4, digestive problems, not just a stomach ache. It always starts small. A little bloating after a meal, an occasional cramp, a sudden urgency to run to the bathroom, or maybe just this dull, nagging ache deep in your gut that never seems to leave. You brush it off, you blame the food. Maybe it's the milk, maybe it's stress, maybe it's just part of getting older. But deep inside, your body is trying to tell you something far more serious. Something that has nothing to do with food poisoning or bad digestion, and everything to do with the collapse of your immune system. You see, most people think the immune system lives in the blood, that it's this invisible force floating around your body like a ghostly army. But what if I told you that 70% of your immune system lives in your gut? That's right. The very place you feel all those cramps, all that bloating, all those irregular trips to the bathroom. That's not just your stomach misbehaving. That's your immune fortress breaking down from the inside out. Inside your intestines lives a massive, complex community of bacteria, known as the gut microbiome. These bacteria don't just digest your food, they train your immune cells. They tell your body what's dangerous and what's not. They produce powerful compounds that reduce inflammation, kill pathogens, and even communicate with your brain. But when that delicate balance is thrown off by poor diet, stress, antibiotics, or chronic illness, the gut becomes a war zone. The good bacteria die off, the bad ones multiply, and your immune system, it begins to panic. It sees chaos where there used to be order. It starts attacking everything, including your own tissue. And what you feel on the surface, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, acid reflux, gas, cramping, is only the first layer of a much deeper, much darker problem. Because if your gut is inflamed, if your lining is damaged, if your immune system can't recognize friend from foe, then everything else in your body is at risk. You may start to notice that the food you used to enjoy now makes you sick. Suddenly, gluten triggers pain. Dairy causes bloating. Fried foods knock you out for the whole day. Even healthy things, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, begin to cause discomfort. Why? Because your gut has become hypersensitive. The immune system embedded in your intestines is now on edge. It's overreacting, misfiring, confused, and every bite of food becomes a battle. Not because the food is the enemy, but because your immune system no longer knows who the enemy is. This is where autoimmune conditions often begin. Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, leaky gut, even food intolerances that didn't exist before. And the damage doesn't stop there. When your gut becomes inflamed, the protective lining, the wall that's supposed to keep harmful substances out of your bloodstream, begins to break down. It's like tearing holes in a fortress wall. Toxins, bacteria, and undigested food particles slip into the bloodstream, and your immune system goes into full-blown alert mode. You may start developing allergies you never had before. Skin issues, chronic fatigue, mood swings, brain fog, and yes, more frequent colds and infections. Because when the gut is sick, the whole body suffers. It doesn't matter how well you sleep. It doesn't matter how many supplements you take. If your immune system is under attack from the very place it lives, your gut, then everything else begins to fall apart. Let's take a moment and look at the signs again. Have you experienced regular bloating, even after light meals? Constipation that lingers, or diarrhea that comes in waves? Heartburn that returns no matter what you eat? A constant gurgling tightness or discomfort in your lower abdomen? Intense cravings for sugar, carbs, or salty snacks? Chronic bad breath, even with good hygiene? Undigested food in your stool? A sudden sensitivity to foods you used to love? These aren't random symptoms. These are immune symptoms. They are signals, sometimes loud, sometimes barely there, but always present. And they are telling you that your gut, your core, your immune powerhouse is losing control. And if it continues, you won't just live with digestive discomfort. You'll begin to experience full-body dysfunction. That's why this isn't just a stomach ache. It's not just gas. It's not just an upset belly from last night's dinner. It's a system-wide alarm disguised as a little digestive trouble. And the longer you ignore it, the harder it becomes to repair. Because rebuilding the immune system starts in the gut, with restoring balance, with healing inflammation, with calming the chaos, with feeding the good bacteria, with reducing the toxins, the stress, the sugar, the processed food, with giving your body a chance to recover. Most people wait until it's too late, until the pain becomes unbearable, until their immune system is so overwhelmed that it begins attacking itself. Until they're diagnosed with a lifelong condition that could have been prevented with awareness. But now, you're aware. You understand that your gut problems may not be minor. They may be the first major warning that your immune system is giving up. And if you take action now, if you listen to your body, you can change the story before it spirals out of control. So the next time your stomach aches for no reason, the next time your gut feels off, even after a light meal, pause, listen, and ask yourself, what is my immune system trying to tell me? Sign 5, high levels of stress with no recovery. You feel it the moment you open your eyes, that heaviness, that weight on your chest. It doesn't matter how long you slept, because the storm inside your mind never really turned off. You drag yourself through the morning. A forced smile, a shaky breath, You push through the day with 1,000 thoughts racing through your head. Deadlines, bills, people counting on you, conversations you replay over and over. You say, it's just stress. You say, it'll get better soon. But deep down, you know this isn't normal anymore. This isn't a season. This is a constant state. And the worst part? You've forgotten what peace feels like. We live in a world that praises the grind, that glamorizes being busy, that tells you rest is weakness and burnout is a badge of honor. But behind the curtain of your ambition, your body is breaking. And the first thing to go, your immune system. Here's the truth. They don't teach you in school. Stress kills your immunity. When you're stressed, your body goes into survival mode. It releases a hormone called cortisol, the fight or flight chemical. It's meant to protect you from danger. It's powerful. It's necessary in short bursts. But when that stress never ends, when your cortisol levels stay high for weeks, months, even years, your immune system begins to shut down. Why? Because your body thinks you're in danger. Real, immediate danger. And in a crisis, your body diverts all its energy to survival. Your digestion slows, your memory weakens, your focus narrows, and your immune response is put on pause. You don't need to fight off a virus if you're running from a tiger, right? But here's the thing. There's no tiger, just life, and it never stops. So your immune system stays suppressed, not for minutes or hours, but for months. And in that time, viruses sneak in, bacteria grow, inflammation spreads, wounds don't heal, toxins build up, and your defenses, once strong, once sharp, once reliable, begin to rot from the inside. But stress doesn't just weaken your immunity, it attacks it. Studies have shown that people with chronic stress have fewer white blood cells, lower antibody production, and slower recovery times. In other words, your body stops fighting back. And you feel it. You start catching colds more often. Your skin breaks out. You get headaches that never seem to end. You feel tightness in your chest, knots in your stomach, tension in your jaw. You feel exhausted but can't sleep. You lie awake thinking about everything and nothing, your body crying for rest and your mind refusing to let go. That's not just stress. That's system overload. And the damage is deeper than you think. When stress becomes chronic, it causes inflammation. And inflammation is the root of almost every modern disease. Autoimmune disorders, heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, depression. Yes, even your mental health is tied to immune health. Because your brain and your immune system are connected, constantly sending signals back and forth. And when one breaks down, the other does too. But here's the truly terrifying part. We get so used to stress. We forget it's there. We normalize it. We adapt. We numb ourselves with scrolling, snacking, caffeine, distractions. We joke about burnout. We brag about sleepless nights and packed schedules. We tell ourselves, I'm fine. But your body knows better. It remembers every moment of stress, every argument, every trauma, every missed meal, every sleepless night. It stores it until it can't anymore. And that's when the symptoms begin. You start losing your patience. You forget things. Your body aches. You lose your appetite or can't stop eating. You cry over things that never used to bother you. You stop laughing. You stop dreaming. You stop healing because a stressed body cannot heal. And a stressed mind cannot grow, and a stressed immune system cannot protect you. But here's what no one tells you. Stress isn't the enemy. Unrelieved stress is. You were built to survive short bursts, to respond, recover, and rebuild. But without the recovery, you slowly begin to fall apart. And no doctor, no pill, no diet can fix a body that never gets a chance to rest. So what does this mean for you? If you're constantly on edge, if you feel wired and tired at the same time, if your fuse is shorter than it used to be, if your body feels like it's holding something in, if you can't remember the last time you truly exhaled, then your immune system isn't just struggling, it's drowning. And the answer isn't just more sleep. It's not just a weekend off or a vacation. The answer is to break the cycle, to give your body space, to give your mind silence, to allow yourself recovery every day, to stop treating rest like a reward, and start treating it like a requirement. Because if you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to make time for your illness. And the first warning, that constant, unshakable, soul-crushing stress that never lets you heal, that robs your immunity day by day, thought by thought. You don't have to live like this. but you do have to choose to stop. Sign 6, recurring inflammation and joint pain. Pain is a strange teacher. It doesn't knock politely. It crashes in, uninvited, unrelenting. Some days it whispers. Other days it screams. And when that pain settles in your joints, in your knees, your wrists, your fingers, your spine, it begins to change you. Not just physically, but mentally, emotionally. It wears you down bit by bit like waves against stone. You start waking up stiff, even after a full night's sleep. Simple tasks like tying your shoes, opening a jar, or walking up the stairs become battles. And maybe, just maybe, you've convinced yourself it's normal, that it's just age, just wear and tear, just life. But what if it's not? What if your immune system is no longer protecting you, but attacking you? See, there's a silent war happening inside many of us. A war we don't see until it shows up as pain, swelling, stiffness, redness, the visible flames of inflammation. And inflammation isn't just a symptom, it's a signal, one that your immune system is confused, overworked, or breaking down. Let's understand this. Your immune system's job is to fight threats, infections, toxins, foreign invaders. But when it starts seeing your own body as the enemy, when it can no longer distinguish between danger and safety, it begins attacking your own tissues. And the joints, they're often the first to fall, because joints are complex, delicate structures. They carry the weight of your life, literally. And when inflammation moves in, it doesn't leave quietly. You might feel it as aching that comes and goes. You might notice your knuckles looking puffy, your knees stiffening after just an hour of sitting, your back flaring up every time the weather changes. You may even see swelling with no injury, no trauma, just inflammation, without cause, or so it seems. But your immune system knows the cause. It's overreacting, it's panicking, and it's using inflammation as a desperate attempt to fix something it doesn't understand. In the early stages, you might write it off. I must have slept wrong. Maybe I twisted something. It's probably the weather. But it keeps coming back. It lingers, it spreads. First one joint, then another. And soon it feels like your whole body is betraying you. This is how autoimmune conditions begin. Rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriatic arthritis, fibromyalgia, even early signs of multiple sclerosis. They can all start with joint pain and swelling. But even if it never becomes a diagnosis, even if your pain doesn't yet have a name, recurring joint inflammation is not normal. It's not something to ignore. It is your body's alarm system, begging you to notice, to care, to respond. Because here's the scary part. Chronic inflammation doesn't just stay in your joints. It travels. It moves through your bloodstream. It affects your heart, your brain, your gut, your lungs. It creates a toxic environment where disease can thrive. Inflammation is like fire, sometimes necessary, but uncontrollable if left unchecked. And the longer your immune system stays in this hyperactive, inflamed state, the more it damages you instead of defending you. So the question is, what's causing it? Maybe it's a hidden food sensitivity, triggering your immune response every time you eat. Maybe it's chronic stress, flooding your body with hormones that provoke inflammation. Maybe it's a sedentary lifestyle, poor gut health, or years of internalized trauma. Or maybe your immune system is simply burnt out, exhausted from years of fighting without rest, weakened by everything you've endured, silently, without support. And pain is how it finally gets your attention. But we're taught to silence pain. Pop a pill, keep going, rub on a cream, push through. Don't complain, they say, tough it out. But what if pain isn't something to defeat, but something to understand? What if your body is not the enemy, but the messenger? Because recurring inflammation is not about being fragile. It's not about being weak. It's about being under attack from the inside. And when that internal battle goes unnoticed for too long, it becomes harder to heal, harder to reverse, harder to rebuild the balance that once kept you strong. But the truth is, you can heal. You can fight back. You can quiet the fire, but not by ignoring it, not by numbing it, not by pretending that this pain is your new normal. You must address the root. You must support your immune system, not just through medication, but through rest, nutrition, movement, emotional healing, and above all, awareness. Because the joints don't lie. They carry the story of your immune system. And if they hurt again and again, that story is not over. It's escalating. So the next time your fingers feel tight, or your knees ache for no reason, or your shoulders swell after no injury, don't ask, what did I do wrong? Ask, what is my immune system trying to tell me? And then listen, because your body always tells the truth, even when the truth is hard to hear. Sign 7, unexplained weight changes when the scale becomes a mystery. One day you glance at the mirror and something feels different, not because of a new outfit or a change in lighting, but because the person looking back at you doesn't feel like you. You haven't changed your diet. You haven't skipped your routine. But your clothes feel tighter or looser. The number on the scale keeps shifting, and you can't explain why. You eat less and somehow gain. You eat more and still lose. You do everything right, and your body just doesn't respond. And deep down you start to wonder, what is going on inside me? This isn't about vanity. This isn't about beach bodies or social media perfection. This is about something far more urgent. Your immune system. You see, your body is designed to maintain balance. Weight is part of that balance, carefully regulated by hormones, metabolism, digestion, and yes, immunity. But when your immune system begins to fail, when it starts fighting the wrong battles or burning out entirely, that balance collapses. And the first place it shows? Your body composition. Let's talk about unexplained weight gain. You eat the same, you move the same, and yet the pounds creep on like shadows you can't outrun. You might think it's just water retention, hormones, stress, age, but beneath it all there may be something far more dangerous brewing: chronic inflammation. When your immune system is constantly triggered by food sensitivities, environmental toxins, hidden infections, or unrelieved stress, your body goes into survival mode. It holds onto fat like armor. It slows your metabolism to preserve energy. It floods your system with cortisol, the stress hormone that tells your body, store more, burn less. And suddenly, you're gaining weight without changing anything. Your face looks puffier, your belly expands, your energy drops, and every diet you try feels like a dead end. Because the problem isn't what you're eating, it's what your immune system is doing with it. Now, flip the coin. Let's talk about unexplained weight loss. You're not trying to lose weight, but your clothes hang looser. Your muscles seem to disappear. Your face begins to look hollow. People start asking if you're okay. And maybe you're not. Because a sudden drop in weight, without any effort, can signal that your immune system is fighting something big, something your conscious mind hasn't yet detected. It could be a chronic infection draining your nutrients. It could be gut inflammation, destroying your ability to absorb food. It could be autoimmune disease, where your body turns against its own tissues. In some terrifying cases, it can even be an early sign of cancer, as the immune system quietly wages war against invisible enemies. And all the while, you lose weight, not because you're healthy, but because your body is breaking itself down to survive. The scariest part? In both weight gain and weight loss, you're not in control. And that loss of control, that helpless feeling, is one of the most telling signs that your immune system is no longer running the show. Maybe your appetite has changed. You're not hungry anymore. Or you're hungry all the time, but never feel full. Maybe you're craving sugar and salt constantly. Maybe you've developed an aversion to certain foods, or you eat and then feel sick, bloated, heavy, dizzy. These are not coincidences. These are chemical cries from an immune system out of balance. Because your immune system doesn't just fight infections. It controls inflammation. It interacts with your hormones. It communicates with your gut, where over 70% of your immune cells live. It plays a direct role in how your body stores fat, burns calories, and digests nutrients. When that system begins to falter, so does everything else. The scary part? We don't take this seriously. We blame ourselves. We shame our own reflection. We punish our bodies with harsher diets, more intense workouts, and toxic self-talk. When in truth, the body is not our enemy. It's our ally, waving a red flag, trying to say something inside me isn't right. So if your weight is shifting uncontrollably, if your clothes no longer fit the way they should, if you're feeling bloated, swollen, puffy, or hollow for no clear reason, it's not just life. It's not just aging. It might be your immune system surrendering. And the answer isn't found in fad diets or detox teas. It's found in healing from within. by reducing stress, by identifying hidden inflammation, by repairing the gut, by supporting the immune system, not punishing the body. Because when your immune system is strong, your weight becomes stable, your metabolism finds rhythm, your cravings fade, your hunger becomes intuitive, your body begins to trust again, and you begin to feel like you again. But it starts with awareness. So the next time the scale surprises you, the next time your jeans don't fit and you don't know why, don't reach for shame. Reach for understanding. Ask yourself, what is my immune system trying to tell me through these changes? Because the body never lies, and the number on the scale is more than a number. It's a signal, and you're finally ready to listen. When your body speaks. And now, you've heard the signs. Not from a textbook, not from a sterile doctor's office, but from the battlefield that is your own body. The constant colds, the wounds that won't heal, the digestive chaos, the pain in your joints, the weight that shifts like a ghost, the never-ending stress, the silent inflammation that whispers louder with every passing day. This isn't just about symptoms. This is a story, your story. Your immune system is not just a collection of cells and molecules. It's your shield, your ally, the quiet warrior that has fought for you since the day you were born, without asking for praise, without demanding credit. It has worked through the nights you didn't sleep, through the meals you skipped, through the heartbreaks, the grief, the anxiety, the burnout, through every cut, cough, ache, and fever. But now it's tired, and it's asking for something it rarely does. Help. Because the truth is, most people don't listen until it's too late. Until the diagnosis, until the hospital bed, until the pills stack high and the energy runs low, until the fire of inflammation has consumed what used to be a vibrant, powerful body. But you've seen the signs now. You've heard the voice of your immune system, maybe for the first time in your life, not just as background noise, but as a cry. And the question is simple. Will you answer? Because your body isn't trying to punish you. It's not falling apart to hurt you. It's slowing down to warn you, to protect you, even as it crumbles. You see, healing doesn't begin in hospitals. It begins with awareness, with noticing the little things, that cold that keeps coming back, that food that never sits right, that cut that never closes, that tension that never releases, that fire that never cools. Healing begins the moment you say, I hear you, I'm listening, I'm ready. And no, the road won't be easy. It won't be quick. There's no magic pill. But there is magic in understanding, in slowing down, in nourishing your body, not punishing it, in giving your immune system what it has given you for so long, support, care, compassion. Because your immune system is not your enemy. It is the gatekeeper of your life, the silent sentinel standing between you and the storms of disease. And when it falters, when it waves the white flag, that is not the end. It is the beginning of a new relationship with your body, one built on trust, one built on action, one built on finally choosing to live, not by ignoring the signs, but by honoring them. So don't wait until your body screams. Don't wait until the breakdown. Don't wait until the life you had becomes a memory. Start today with one change, one better habit, one decision to listen, because your body is speaking. Your immune system is whispering through every ache, every chill, every moment of exhaustion. And it's saying this, I'm still here. I'm still fighting, but I can't do it alone anymore. So now, it's up to you.